What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, we are going to be talking about the whole Stephon Gilmore situation. By the title, by the news that dropped yesterday, I'm sure you guys already know that the Patriots did place Stephon Gilmore on the reserve/PUP list, which means he will be out for a minimum of 6 weeks. Now, I do apologize for getting this video out late to you guys. Unfortunately, there is a pretty bad storm going around, so haven't really had the point to have connection, Wi-Fi, or even electric at some point. So, my apologies for having this get out later than I usually like to upload news. Now, this is very different if Stephon Gilmore made the initial Patriots 53-man roster and then was placed on the injured reserve. He'd miss at least 3 games. Now, because they're originally starting him off before he made the 53-man roster on the PUP list, that means minimum of 6 games. That means he has to miss 6 games, and then he can return. But again, question is, will he even return after that? Now, Gilmore did not participate in a single practice during training camp, minicamp, or OTAs, but it was said that there were times that Stephon Gilmore was present within the facility. And I remember one day of training camp, they said he was present but working on a separate field, but never actually was working with the team. Let's remember that during the season this past year, he missed a few games because he had a torn quad that did require surgery. I'm going to be completely blunt with you guys. I do not believe that this is due to injury. I firmly, truly believe that if Gilmore had the contract that he liked, he would be playing week 1. He would have been here in training camp. An injury like that should not still be keeping him out, especially when reports a few months ago said that Stephon Gilmore was progressing fine. Stephon Gilmore himself at one point was even asked if he was going to be at mandatory training camp, and his response was, if I have to be. If you have to be clearly doesn't mean this is about an injury, because if you're dealing with an injury, you can't control whether you are going to be there to start the season. You can't control if you are going to be at practice or not. But what you can control is showing up or not showing up to practice if you're not happy with your contract. Let's remember that Stephon Gilmore is on the final year of his 5-year deal and will make just about $7.7 million in 2021, which isn't even top 10 cornerback money. Unfortunately, this Stephon Gilmore situation is going to continue to go on as it has for well over a year, as we've been hearing trade rumors. We even heard trade rumors this offseason about Stephon Gilmore. There was a point where I thought he was just as good as gone. Then we heard that the Patriots weren't looking to trade him anymore. Things were looking up for a potential new contract, and now we are hearing trade rumors yet again. And I will say, I did predict that Stephon Gilmore and the Patriots were going to get this figured out before the start of the regular season. I thought, look, after all the moves Belichick made, all the money he spent this offseason, he is not going to want to tamper with that secondary, especially because behind Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson, they don't really have much starting quality guys. Unfortunately, it's going to be another situation where Patriots players are going to have to play 1 to 2 spots above where they should be playing. Ultimately, what this tells me is that the Patriots and Stephon Gilmore have not been able to reach a new contract, and signs do not look good for them to potentially, get a new contract as we head forward. Now, I know the consensus with this whole placing him on the PUP, missing 6 to 7 weeks, is that they approached Stephon Gilmore, hey, things aren't working out with a contract on both sides, obviously. What if we only make you play about 10 games instead of a 17-game season? And I really don't see where that is something Stephon Gilmore ultimately would agree with. I don't think that not playing football is something that Stephon Gilmore wants. At the end of the day, he just wants money. It's not about preserving his career. It's not about, hey, let me play 10 games instead of 17. It's give me more money. And at the end of the day, no matter if Stephon Gilmore plays 16, 10, 7, 5, or even 0 games, he's going to be making $7.7 million. Gilmore has held out. It was really in facility holdout, but still a holdout this entire offseason. And although they placed him on the PUP list for, again, at least 6 weeks, I wonder if Stephon Gilmore would even return to the Patriots after those 6 weeks, or if he would continue to hold out. And at the end of the day, if he's going to continue to hold out, he's not going to get a new contract, trade him. I hate to say it, but trade him, because it's better to even get a 5th-round pick than for a player who's just going to essentially sit on the bench because he doesn't want to play for you due to not liking his contract. And unfortunately, because of these events, I do feel as if this is a likely sign that Stephon Gilmore isn't going to be returning to the Patriots at the end of the season. I don't see this dispute happening for as long as it has, and then us hitting the open market, or hitting free agency, Stephon Gilmore being in the open market, and then saying, oh yeah, we had all these issues, you couldn't give me the money I wanted, but yeah, I'm going to re-sign with you. So we've seen crazier things happen, but chances are Stephon Gilmore is going to be done with the Patriots after this season. Now, essentially, what does this mean if Stephon Gilmore does miss just 6 weeks? That means he's going to be missing the matchup against the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Texans, and the Cowboys. Now, luckily enough, if the Patriots do get him back this season after those 6 games, they would still have him against the Chargers. They would still have him against the Browns, against the Titans. So they would still be in a fairly good place, but he is still going to miss some notable matchups. Now, I think they should be fine against the Saints, but he is going to miss 2 of the biggest games of the Patriots season. 2 games too that I thought that Stephon Gilmore is vital in, and that is against the Buccaneers week 4, and then week 6 against the Dallas Cowboys. And the biggest one that stands out to me is the Buccaneers. I think that is probably the biggest loss for the Patriots week 4 is Stephon Gilmore, because you look at that offense, you look at Tom Brady, who's already going to be a nightmare to play against because of the chemistry and the familiarity, but now you also have to look at their depth chart, their tremendous depth chart of wide receivers, whether that's Godwin, whether that's Evans, whether that's Antonio Brown, whether that's Rob Gronkowski, whether that's Scotty Miller. The Patriots are going to have a very, very tough time stopping that, just in general, but even more so without Stephon Gilmore. So essentially what week 1, your cornerback situation is going to look like is J.C. Jackson as CB1, which hopefully he can stay consistent. And then you're looking at likely Jalen Mills. Compared to what we have seen really the entire training camp and offseason, Jalen Mills is likely to take over as CB2. I don't like that. Now, they could switch between Jawan Williams and Jalen Mills. I think either way, neither of those guys should be CB2, and the New England Patriots really should be looking out of house at this point to find another cornerback to be able to take over as CB2, because Jalen Mills, Jawan Williams, I think at best are both CB3, but we know that that's likely something Belichick is not going to do, so expect one of Jawan Williams or Jalen Mills to be taking over as CB2, and then the other one taking over as CB3. But what are your guys' thoughts on this whole Stephon Gilmore situation as we just get deeper and deeper into it as each month goes by? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Go Pats.